25 black celebrities who had secret children you didn't know about. What if the leaders and icons you idolize had secrets that could shatter the image you believed in for decades? Today we dive deep into the hidden truths behind Jesse Jackson, a man whose voice once echoed through history, yet whose private life tells a far more complicated story. How do we reconcile the heroism we celebrate with the mistakes we never imagined? Stay tuned as we uncover the shocking reality behind this civil rights legend. And don't forget to hit subscribe and join the conversation, because the truth is always more compelling than the legend. Flavor Flav's public persona has always been loud, outrageous, and unforgettable. But the stories behind his private life reveal a much quieter struggle. Long before reality TV fame returned him to the spotlight, Flav was already a father several times over. Yet his relationships with some of his children were clouded by uncertainty, conflict, and years of emotional distance. One of the most talked about cases involved a child he initially refused to recognize, a situation that escalated into a paternity dispute and later a court-ordered DNA test. When the truth came out, the revelation forced him to confront not only the legal consequences, but also the trust he had fractured in the process. His battles with addiction, financial instability, and the chaotic lifestyle of a touring musician made it even harder for him to be consistently present. For long stretches, communication was minimal and support inconsistent, leaving painful gaps that his children and their mothers had to navigate alone. Yet beneath the controversy, Flav has spoken about wanting to break old patterns and repair what was damaged. As he grew older, particularly after becoming a fixture on VH1 reality shows, he expressed deeper regret about missed milestones and strained connections. In recent years, he's attempted to rebuild some of those relationships, acknowledging past failures while trying to create something healthier moving forward. These efforts aren't perfect, and not every wound has healed, but they reveal a man wrestling with the consequences of choices made in youth in fame's harsh spotlight. Flavor Flav's story isn't just about secret paternity, it's also about accountability, redemption, and the difficult work of showing up after years of absence. His journey reminds us that celebrity doesn't erase humanity, it often amplifies its most complicated parts. DMX. Earl Simmons, known globally as DMX, was more than a rap superstar. He was a raw, unfiltered voice of struggle and redemption. Bursting onto the hip-hop scene in the late 1990s with albums like It's Dark and Hell is Hot and Then There Was X, DMX captivated audiences with his visceral delivery, aggressive energy, and lyrical candor. His songs were an emotional catharsis, channeling pain, faith, and relentless ambition, connecting deeply with fans who felt the authenticity in every growl and verse. Yet beneath the stage lights and roaring crowds lay a private life riddled with complexity. DMX fathered 15 children with multiple partners, a sprawling family that often remained hidden from public view. While some, like his son Xavier Simmons, occasionally surfaced in media appearances, many, including his daughter Sasha Simmons with Patricia Tijo, remained unknown until legal action brought them into the light. The revelation of these children painted a portrait of a life lived in extremes, full of love, yet fractured by absence and chaos. After DMX's death in 2021, the intricacies of his estate exposed a family reality as tumultuous as his music. Court proceedings revealed children who had never met, bonds strained by years of distance, and lives shaped by absence. The man whose lyrics spoke of loyalty, fatherhood, and survival often could not translate those truths into consistent presence. Addiction, relentless touring, and personal battles left gaps that could not easily be bridged, leaving many of his children to navigate the shadows of a father's fame and fragility. DMX's artistic legacy remains indelible, but his familial story is a cautionary tale of brilliance intertwined with human imperfection. For the children he left behind, especially those unknown to the world for so long, The echoes of his music carry both connection and sorrow, a testament to love expressed through art, yet lived imperfectly in life. Nas, Nasir Jones. Nasir Jones, famously known as Nas, has long been celebrated as one of hip-hop's most articulate storytellers. Emerging in the early 90s with his debut masterpiece, Illmatic, he captivated audiences with razor-sharp observations, unflinching honesty, and poetic finesse. His music resonated with listeners, portraying both the gritty realities of urban life and the intimate reflections of a young man navigating the world. But behind the acclaim, Nas's personal life encountered turbulence that would clash sharply with his public image. In 2009, the birth of his son, Knight Jones, with singer Khalees, should have been a time of celebration. Instead, it coincided with a legal and emotional storm. The couple's relationship, once seemingly harmonious, fractured under the pressures of fame, differing priorities, and mounting disagreements. Khalees's divorce filing while expecting their child sparked a media frenzy, with sensational headlines speculating on everything from disputes over money to allegations of neglect and infidelity. What could have been a private family matter quickly became a very public controversy. The custody conflict became particularly wrenching. Reports portrayed Nas as an absent father, avoiding responsibilities, while Khalees argued that he was unreliable and inconsistent. Nas, determined to maintain a bond with his son, countered claims of negligence and highlighted his efforts to remain present despite the challenges. This ongoing struggle unfolded in the public eye, casting a shadow over Nas's reputation as a socially conscious and introspective artist. For fans, the juxtaposition was jarring. The same man who rapped eloquently about fatherhood, resilience, and community now wrestled with the complexities of parenting offstage. Knight, largely shielded from public view, became a quiet symbol of unresolved tension, while Nas's artistry continued to channel personal pain into music. The story reminds us that even those who create profound art are not immune to the messy realities of life and family. Lil Wayne, born Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., has long been admired for his dizzying wordplay. Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., globally recognized as Lil Wayne, cemented his place in hip-hop through fearless creativity, clever wordplay, and an unpredictable style that kept fans and critics on edge. From the explosive debut of The Block is Hot to the mainstream triumph of The Carter 3, Wayne's music radiated raw energy, emotional depth, and lyrical ingenuity. He often spoke openly about fatherhood, celebrating his relationship with his daughter Reginae, sharing glimpses of their bond in interviews, social media, and even through his songs, presenting himself as a proud and devoted parent. Yet in 2008, at the height of his fame, a quieter, more secretive chapter unfolded. Wayne welcomed a son, Dwayne Carter III, with Sarah Vivon, a radio personality outside the entertainment spotlight. Unlike his public displays of paternal pride with Reginae, Wayne and Sarah's relationship and their child remained almost entirely private. The birth passed largely unnoticed by media and fans alike, creating a sense of intrigue and unanswered questions. For months, Dwayne III's existence was shrouded in silence. No photographs, no statements, no public appearances, just an invisible presence in the life of a man constantly in the limelight. When speculation grew too loud to ignore, Wayne acknowledged his son, though his comments were brief, vague, and lacking detail. The secrecy raised questions. Why protect this child from public view? Why conceal a life milestone when fatherhood was so proudly displayed elsewhere? Over time, Dwayne III occasionally appeared in family photos online, and Wayne marked birthdays on social media, hinting at a bond quietly nurtured behind closed doors. The story revealed a side of Lil Wayne rarely seen, cautious, introspective, and fiercely protective of his most personal relationships, reminding fans that even the boldest public personas harbor private worlds filled with nuance, conflict, and tender care. Jay-Z, Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, transformed from a young man navigating the tough streets of Brooklyn into a global powerhouse of music, business, and culture. With platinum-selling albums, entrepreneurial success, and a high-profile marriage to Beyoncé, he became a symbol of aspiration, wealth, and influence. Stadiums sold out, private jets flew, and his narrative of rags to riches captivated millions. Yet amid the glittering accomplishments, a shadow lingered. A possible child named Ryer Satwait, whose quest for acknowledgement has quietly persisted for more than a decade. The origins of the story trace back to the early 1990s, long before Jay-Z's meteoric rise. During that period, he reportedly had a brief relationship with Wanda Satwait, who gave birth to a son, Rye, in 1992. For years, Wanda maintained that Jay-Z was the father, but no paternity test was ever conducted. Growing up, Rye internalized this claim, believing himself to be the child of one of the world's most influential entertainers. As he entered his late teens, Ryer sought to formally confirm his identity, initiating legal proceedings to obtain a DNA test. The journey proved arduous, as Jay-Z's formidable legal team allegedly obstructed and delayed each attempt, turning a personal quest into a prolonged struggle for recognition. The case captured public curiosity, highlighting the tension between wealth, power, and the rights of a potential offspring. Despite the legal hurdles, Ryer's persistence never waned. He remained determined to have his story acknowledged and his paternity recognized, while Jay-Z has chosen silence, leaving the public to speculate. This unresolved chapter casts a quiet shadow over an otherwise celebrated empire, suggesting that even icons of hip-hop may carry private complexities. Behind the accolades, behind every sold-out concert and every lyrical triumph, one question endures. Did Jay-Z leave more than his music in his past? Master P. Master P, born Percy Miller, built an empire from nothing, brick by brick, hustle by hustle, until his name became synonymous with independence and generational wealth. No Limit Records wasn't just a label, it was a movement, a blueprint for Black entrepreneurship. To the world, Master P embodied discipline, ambition, and fatherhood, often standing proudly beside his eldest son, Romeo, who became the polished face of the Miller dynasty. Their image was spotless, father and son conquering Hollywood, music, and business together. Yet behind that glossy narrative lay a complex, rarely discussed truth. While Romeo thrived under the spotlight, several of Master P's other children grew up far from public view. Mercy, Italy, Hersey, Tatiana, and Vino among them. They existed in the margins, their stories overshadowed by the brand their father meticulously protected. Outsiders assumed this privacy was intentional, a shield from fame's chaos. But family tensions told a different story. When Master P's marriage to Sonia C unraveled in the 2000s, the curtain lifted. Court documents and emotional interviews revealed years of internal conflict. Accusations of financial control, favoritism, and strained parental relationships. Fans were stunned. The mogul who preached family unity seemed unable to maintain it within his own home. Heartbreak struck again in 2022 when Tatiana Miller, battling long-term addiction, passed away. Her death forced the world to confront an uncomfortable reality. Even the most successful families can carry wounds hidden behind wealth and influence. For Master P, the empire remained standing, but its foundation showed cracks. Rick Ross, long celebrated as hip-hop's larger-than-life mogul, crafted an identity built on dominance, extravagance, and absolute control. His deep voice, grandiose imagery, and empire-driven mindset helped cement him as a symbol of luxury and authority. For years, Ross portrayed himself as the ultimate orchestrator, commanding Maybachs, private jets, and palatial estates with an iron confidence that few artists could match. To the world, he was untouchable, a self-made titan who managed every corner of his life with precision. But in 2017, the curtain slipped. A softer, far more human truth emerged, one that Ross had kept deliberately out of sight. A daughter, Berkeley Hermes, born to fitness personality Brianna Camille, had existed quietly in the background of his empire. There were no baby announcements, no proud Instagram photos, no mentions in interviews. Instead, there was silence, a stark contrast to the image Ross broadcasted. Everything changed when Brianna sought legal action, requesting support for their child. Court filings exposed a story fans never expected. Ross had declined to acknowledge paternity and had offered inconsistent assistance despite his immense wealth. For a man who preached loyalty, power, and accountability in his music, the revelation struck a painful chord. It wasn't just that he had a hidden child, it was the dissonance between his public persona and private actions. As the legal tensions escalated and a second child entered the picture, the court's involvement forced Ross to step forward. He began showing Berkeley in family moments, sharing celebrations and small glimpses of their bond. Yet for many observers, the shift felt reactive, a response to public pressure rather than heartfelt fatherhood. Rick Ross built an empire on strength, but this chapter showed a different truth. Genuine fatherhood isn't about status or money, it's about presence, responsibility, and the courage to stand beside every child, not just the ones who fit the narrative. 50 Cent. Curtis "50 Cent" Jackson built an entire legacy on fearlessness, strategy, and sheer endurance. His rise, from a young hustler surviving 9 bullets to becoming a multi-platinum rapper and television powerhouse, cemented him as one of hip-hop's most unbreakable figures. To the world, 50 Cent was a man who revealed everything: the struggle, the betrayal, the wins, the losses. Nothing seemed hidden, nothing seemed off limits. But in 2012, the illusion cracked. While his career was reaching new levels of fame and financial success, a concealed chapter of his personal life surfaced. 50 Cent had fathered a son, Sire Jackson, with model and entrepreneur Daphne Joy. For years, Sire lived completely outside the public narrative. No baby announcements, no hints on social media, no quiet confirmations from insiders, only a void that kept his existence invisible. The truth emerged only when court documents confirmed the paternity. Fans were stunned. Critics were confused. How could a man who constantly spoke about legacy, responsibility, and loyalty keep something so monumental hidden? Almost overnight, the tone shifted. 50 Cent began showcasing Sire, presenting him to the world with pride, celebrating milestones, and even securing a highly publicized $700,000 modeling contract for him at just 2 years old. The sudden spotlight felt strategic, too polished, too convenient. And it didn't escape anyone's notice that this revelation came at a time when 50's relationship with his first son, Marquise Jackson, was deteriorating rapidly. The contrast was glaring. With Marquise, there was distance, tension, and public conflict. With Sire, there was glamour, curated photo shoots, and perfect headlines. The delayed acknowledgement exposed something deeper than a hidden child. It revealed the fractures beneath 50 Cent's hardened persona. For all his bravado and brutal honesty, this moment showed that even he had vulnerabilities he wasn't ready to confront. Drake, born Aubrey Drake Graham, mastered the art of blending vulnerability with mystery long before he dominated global charts. His music painted him as the sensitive superstar, open about heartbreak, introspective about success, yet fiercely protective of the parts of his life the public wasn't meant to see. For nearly a decade, fans believed they knew him intimately. But in 2018, that illusion collapsed in the most dramatic way imaginable. It didn't come from tabloids, leaked paperwork, or a misstep caught on camera. It came from a diss track. When Pusha T released The Story of Adidon, accusing Drake of hiding a son named Adonis, born to French artist Sophie Brousseau, the revelation detonated across the internet. The idea that hip-hop's most emotionally transparent artist had concealed a child shook the industry. Drake, known for addressing rumors with clever punchlines and smooth melodies, suddenly had nowhere to hide. His response arrived on Scorpion, where he confirmed the truth. "I wasn't hiding my kid from the world. I was hiding the world from my kid," he declared, a line that instantly ignited debates. Was it protection or damage control? Fear or strategy? Fans dissected every word, searching for sincerity. In the months that followed, Drake gradually invited the world into his new reality. He posted photos of Adonis, talked about co-parenting, and showcased tender moments that contrasted sharply with the dramatic way the secret was exposed. The once hidden child became a celebrated part of his narrative. Yet for all the transparency that followed, the initial secrecy left a permanent question mark on his legacy. Drake had built a career on emotional honesty, but this chapter revealed a boundary even he was hesitant to cross. Behind the global icon was a man wrestling with fatherhood, fame, and the fear of losing control over his own story. Future, born Navadius Damon Wilburn, has long embodied the dark glamour of trap music. His voice drips with sorrow, his beats shake with quiet rebellion, and his icy demeanor helped shape him into a cultural phenomenon. To millions, he appeared untouchable, a superstar with diamond chains, designer wardrobes, and a mysterious aura that kept fans guessing. Yet behind the music videos, backstage lights, and luxury lifestyle, there existed a chapter of his life he refused to turn toward. A son named Jacoby Wilburn, born in 2002. While Future's fame skyrocketed, Jacoby became a ghost in his narrative. Fans heard about other children, saw birthday posts, and witnessed public celebrations of fatherhood. But Jacoby's name never surfaced. No captions, no acknowledgements, not even a subtle mention. For more than a decade, the silence was absolute until 2013, when Jacoby's mother, Jessica Smith, filed a lawsuit for child support. Court documents peeled back the curtain, revealing not just financial disputes, but emotional distance. Future was accused of minimizing his income to reduce obligations, even as he bragged in interviews about carrying tens of thousands of dollars in cash. The contrast fueled debates about fame, responsibility, and image-making. Was this strategic privacy or a deliberate erasure? Jacoby grew up without the guidance, presence, or recognition that many of Future's other children received so publicly. That absence carved a quiet ache, a void no chart-topping single could patch over. And as Future continues adding to his growing family, the omission of Jacoby from his polished, highly curated public life remains striking. It stands as a powerful reminder that even the brightest stars cast the darkest shadows, and no amount of wealth can replace a father who chooses not to show up. Mike Tyson, once the unstoppable force of boxing, spent his early life rewriting the limits of human dominance. By 20, he was already a legend, a thunderbolt in human form whose punches echoed through arenas and terrified even seasoned fighters. To the world, Tyson seemed unbreakable, a man fueled by intimidation, discipline, and unmatched ferocity. Yet beneath the violence of the ring lived a deeply wounded soul, carrying more heartbreak than any opponent could inflict. Among Tyson's children, Exodus Tyson lived the furthest from fame. She wasn't photographed courtside, wasn't followed by paparazzi, and wasn't woven into the mythology surrounding her father. Her world was small, quiet, filled with childhood innocence rather than celebrity noise. But on May 25, 2009, that innocence was shattered. While playing at home in Phoenix, 4-year-old Exodus became trapped in a treadmill cord. A tragic accident discovered by her older brother. Emergency responders fought to bring her back, and CPR was performed desperately, relentlessly, but her small body could not withstand the injuries. She passed away the next day, leaving a silence heavier than any knockout Tyson ever delivered. Tyson, in Las Vegas when he received the call, rushed home only to meet a reality no championship belt could shield him from. The fighter who had stared down giants collapsed under a grief so sharp it cut through every layer of his hardened persona. In the months that followed, he withdrew from cameras and crowds, unable to articulate the depth of his devastation. Exodus's death marked a profound turning point. For the first time, the world saw Tyson not as an indestructible warrior, but as a father broken by loss. Her passing became a reminder that even the fiercest champions live with hearts that can shatter. And Tyson's greatest fight was learning to live with the unbearable weight of losing his little girl. Al B. Sure, once the softly lit poster boy of late 80s R&B, built his fame on velvety vocals, tender lyrics, and a spotless public image. His music wrapped listeners in warmth. His presence radiated confidence and charm. But behind the carefully manicured persona existed a truth he kept sealed away for years. A truth intertwined with one of the most recognizable families in modern music. In 1991, he fathered a son, Quincy Brown, with model Kim Porter. Quincy would later be raised in a home dominated by the influence of Sean "Diddy" Combs, Kim's longtime partner. While Diddy embraced Quincy openly, bringing him to events, celebrating milestones, and shaping his life, Al B. Sure remained an invisible figure. He wasn't photographed beside the boy, didn't speak publicly about him, and rarely acknowledged their biological connection. The silence became part of Hollywood's unspoken gossip cycle, lingering in studio hallways and industry circles. Quincy inherited Al's striking features and musical instincts, yet publicly their bond remained non-existent. The contrast was impossible to ignore. A singer known for crooning about devotion and emotional intimacy had distanced himself from his own firstborn. Fans wondered whether the absence stemmed from personal conflict, fear of scrutiny, or a desire to preserve his public image. As Quincy matured, carving out his own path in acting, fashion, and music, the truth gradually surfaced. Not through Al B. Sure's confession, but through Quincy's own words. He spoke lovingly of Kim and Diddy, the people who guided him, while his biological father's role remained a quiet void. Today, Al B. Sure's legacy still glows in R&B history, but Quincy's story adds a confronting layer. A reminder that even artists who sing the sweetest songs can leave behind unresolved chapters. Sometimes the loudest truths are the ones no one chooses to speak. Sean Combs. Sean "Diddy" Combs has long been regarded as the architect of modern hip-hop entrepreneurship. A man who blended music, fashion, nightlife, and branding into an empire fueled by ambition and relentless charisma. His relationship with Kim Porter was often portrayed as the emotional center of that empire. To the public, they appeared unstoppable, a stylish, blended family navigating fame with grace, raising their children in what seemed like harmony and devotion. But in 2006, beneath the polished photo shoots and televised moments of unity, a truth emerged that dismantled the illusion. While Kim was pregnant with their twin daughters, Diddy was secretly involved with another woman, Sarah Chapman. From that relationship came a little girl named Chance Combs, conceived during one of the most vulnerable chapters of Kim's life. When the story surfaced, it wasn't through a heartfelt confession or a moment of accountability. It erupted through headlines, leaving Kim to face the humiliation alone. After over 10 years of love, partnership, and sacrifice, she learned that the man she stood beside had built an entirely separate reality behind her back. For someone who had endured his infidelities before, this was the breaking point. By 2007, the couple who once embodied Black Hollywood royalty had quietly fallen apart. Diddy eventually acknowledged Chance, gradually introducing her into family gatherings and public celebrations. But the emotional wound left behind lingered in the shadows. Chance became part of the broader Combs family story, yet her arrival remained etched in controversy. For fans, the scandal served as a stark revelation. Even the most glamorous relationships can hide fault lines deep beneath the surface. Diddy, once admired as the epitome of loyalty and partnership, became a reminder that no empire, no matter how shiny, can withstand the force of a truth buried too long. Bow Wow. Chad Bow Wow Moss grew up in front of the world, an energetic kid with braids, oversized jerseys, and a confidence far bigger than his small frame. Discovered at age 6 and molded by Snoop Dogg and Jermaine Dupri, he didn't just enter hip-hop, he embodied a youthful version of it. By the early 2000s, Bow Wow was everywhere, topping charts, headlining tours, starring in blockbuster family films. To millions, he was the smiling prodigy who seemed to glide effortlessly through fame. But behind the bright lights and teenage stardom was a young man struggling to keep parts of his life from becoming public property. In 2011, those hidden pieces crashed into the spotlight. Rumors swirled, tabloids whispered, and fans speculated, but Bow Wow remained silent. What the world didn't know was that he had become a father to a baby girl, Shy Moss, with model Joey Chavis. For nearly a year, he carried the secret alone, refusing to confirm what insiders already suspected. The truth finally surfaced through an emotional letter Bow Wow posted on his official website. No PR spin, no glossy magazine spread, just raw honesty. He confessed that he had kept Shay's existence private out of fear that the relentless scrutiny he grew up with would swallow his daughter whole. He admitted that the pressure of being a public figure, even as a child, had shaped how tightly he guarded the parts of his life that felt sacred. Once the truth was out, Bow Wow slowly stepped into fatherhood openly. Social media showed a different man, one softer, grounded, and fiercely protective. Playdates, dances, birthday surprises, Shay became the anchor he didn't know he needed. Although the delayed acknowledgement raised questions, it also humanized him. Beneath the fame, Bow Wow was simply a young man trying to navigate adulthood, privacy, and fear. And in the end, the daughter he once hid became the most genuine chapter of his story. Ludacris, born Christopher Brian Bridges, built a career on charisma so electric it practically bounced off the stage. With his playful punchlines, booming voice, and larger-than-life confidence, he transformed himself from an ambitious Atlanta radio personality into a chart-topping rapper and blockbuster actor. To the public, he wasn't just successful. He was polished, controlled, and proudly dedicated to his growing family. But in 2013, that carefully structured image cracked when a secret surfaced, one that dragged his name into one of the most contentious personal battles of his life: the birth of his daughter, Kai Bella Bridges. Kai was the result of a brief connection with Tamika Fuller, a woman who lived far outside the Hollywood spotlight. At first, Ludacris didn't say a word. He avoided interviews, brushed off speculation, and hoped the story would dissolve on its own. But once Tamika filed for child support, the truth erupted publicly. Suddenly, cameras, reporters, and fans demanded answers, and Ludacris shocked everyone with his response. Instead of stepping back or reconciling, he filed for full custody of his newborn child. The legal showdown that followed was messy, emotional, and deeply polarizing. Supporters praised him for fighting to be present in his daughter's life. Critics accused him of trying to rewrite the narrative to protect his career and finances. Court documents, testimony, and character witnesses turned the case into a spectacle. Then, in 2015, came the twist no one expected. The judge awarded Ludacris full custody. He celebrated the ruling as a victory for stability and responsibility, while Tamika expressed heartbreak, saying she felt erased from her own daughter's world. Today, Ludacris often shares joyful moments with Kai, presenting an image of harmony. But beneath those bright snapshots lies a complicated chapter, one that reshaped how the world sees him and how he sees himself as a father. Stevie J. Stephen Aaron Jordan, famously known as Stevie J, became a household name in the 1990s as a Grammy-winning producer, shaping the sound of hip-hop and R&B with legendary artists like the Notorious B.I.G., Mariah Carey, and Diddy. He was a linchpin of the Bad Boy Records empire, celebrated for his musical genius and charismatic presence. Yet behind the accolades and hit records, a hidden chapter of his life was quietly festering, one that would later surface in the unforgiving glare of reality television. It was on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta that the secret finally emerged. Stevie J had a daughter, Savannah Jordan, whose existence had been largely ignored for over a decade. Savannah was born in 1998 from a brief relationship with Carol Antoinette Bennett. Despite fathering her, Stevie remained absent, offering no guidance, no financial support, and most painfully, no acknowledgement. While the cameras captured his playful interactions with his other children, Savannah lived in the shadows, watching him on television without ever hearing from him personally. By 2012, Carol's patience had run out. Armed with years of unpaid child support records, she went public, accusing Stevie of owing hundreds of thousands of dollars. The media swarmed. Reality TV producers seized the moment, and suddenly Savannah, long invisible, became the focal point of a scandal that exposed the dark side of celebrity fatherhood. Though Stevie eventually acknowledged Savannah, the scars of neglect remained. Fans were confronted with a jarring contrast, a man celebrated for creating timeless music, yet faltering in the most intimate and human responsibility of all. The story of Savannah Jordan serves as a haunting reminder that fame can cloak personal failures, and no Grammy, hit single, or television spotlight can erase the voice of a child long silenced. Floyd Mayweather Jr. Floyd Mayweather Jr., celebrated as one of boxing's all-time greats, built a career defined by unmatched speed, tactical brilliance, and an undefeated record that became the envy of the sports world. Beyond the ropes, he amassed a fortune exceeding $1 billion, living amidst opulence. Private jets, diamond-studded watches, and high-end cars formed the backdrop of his life. The public saw an untouchable champion, invincible both inside and outside the ring. Yet behind the dazzling facade lay a deeply personal secret that would haunt him for years. A son, Karen Mayweather, whose presence was largely denied by the father. Born in 1999 to Josie Harris, Karen existed in the shadow of Floyd's public persona. Unlike Floyd's other children, whose birthdays and milestones were celebrated with grandeur and broadcast widely on social media, Karen remained largely invisible, absent from both his father's affections and his public narrative. This absence came to a dramatic and tragic head in 2010, when Karen, at just 10 years old, became an unexpected witness to domestic violence within his family. He saw his father physically assault his mother in their Las Vegas home. Terrified, yet courageous, Karen sought help, an act that led to Floyd's conviction and a 90-day jail sentence. The legal consequences were brief, but the emotional wounds inflicted on Karen were profound. In later interviews, the boy spoke openly about the pain, calling out his father's neglect and describing the fear that had accompanied his upbringing. While Floyd continued to bask in fame, flaunting his wealth and boxing triumphs, the story of Karen reminded the public that no amount of accolades can erase the deep scars left by parental absence. In the ring, Mayweather never faced defeat, but as a father, the echoes of neglect and fear remain louder than any championship bell. The Game, born Jason Terrell Taylor, rose to prominence through a brand of storytelling that felt unfiltered, emotional, and fiercely loyal to his roots. He built his public identity around the idea of family, speaking openly about protecting his loved ones and showcasing his sons, Harlem and King Justice, as the centerpieces of his life. Whether in interviews, photo shoots, or music videos, the world saw him as a doting, present father who proudly embraced every moment of raising his boys. Yet behind this image of transparency, there was one chapter he kept sealed away for years. California Dream Taylor, His daughter with fiancée Tiffany Cambridge lived almost as a ghost in his narrative. While his sons were celebrated and constantly visible, California existed in silence. No birthday tributes, no small mentions during press tours, no backstage snapshots, nothing to suggest she was part of his world. To longtime fans, the game appeared to have only 2 children. The absence was so complete that many didn't even question it. They simply accepted the carefully curated picture he presented. But in 2012, the truth surfaced in the most unexpected way. During the premiere of VH1's Marrying the Game, California quietly stepped into the frame. No dramatic announcement, just a little girl who had clearly been part of his life, but never part of his spotlight. Viewers were stunned. Her sudden appearance raised difficult questions. Was the game protecting her from the chaos of fame? Or had personal conflicts, unspoken strain, or emotional hesitation kept her hidden? After the show, California gradually appeared more often on his social media, signaling a shift toward openness. But the years of secrecy lingered as a reminder that even an artist known for unfiltered honesty could struggle to confront certain truths. In the end, authenticity wasn't just something he rapped about. It was a responsibility he had to grow into. T.I. Clifford T.I. Harris built his empire on confidence, grit, and a voice that became synonymous with Southern dominance. For years, he stood at the center of hip-hop culture, crafting hits, influencing the sound of Atlanta, and expanding his reach through television. On reality shows, he often portrayed himself as a hands-on father, the steady leader of a bustling, blended household. But behind the polished image was a daughter the public rarely saw, Deja Imani Harris. Born in 2001 to T.I. and Raniqua Ms. Nico, Deja grew up on the far edges of her father's spotlight. While other Harris children appeared frequently in interviews, premieres, and family photo shoots, Deja's quiet presence raised whispers among fans who wondered why she stayed so distant. For years, the mystery lingered without answers. That silence shattered in 2019 when T.I., during a podcast appearance, revealed that he attended Deja's annual gynecological checkups to ensure her hymen was still intact. The remark was met with immediate and furious backlash. Critics called the behavior invasive and deeply harmful, a troubling reminder of how parental authority can cross into violation. Social media erupted, and conversations about autonomy, respect, and boundaries spread across the country. Deja's reaction spoke louder than words. She unfollowed her father, quietly endorsed posts condemning his comments, and allowed the world to see the hurt behind her restraint. For her, the controversy wasn't an isolated mistake. It symbolized years of feeling overlooked, controlled, and treated differently from her siblings. I attempted to soften the blow by claiming he had exaggerated for humor, but the trust had already fractured. The incident forced many to reconsider what true fatherhood looks like. Not surveillance or dominance, but empathy, honesty, and the willingness to protect a child's dignity. Busta Rhymes, celebrated for his thunderous voice, lightning-fast delivery, and electrifying energy, became one of hip-hop's most unforgettable forces. Tracks like Break Your Neck and Touch It showcased a performer who could command any stage, any crowd, any era. Behind the wild charisma and larger-than-life persona, however, the man born Trevor George Smith Jr. carried a far more complicated truth, one that had nothing to do with music, fame, or awards. It was the truth of a father who chose distance over responsibility. In 1998, Busta shared a quiet, low-profile relationship with Jill Mick, a woman who had no interest in celebrity culture or the chaos that trailed entertainers. From that relationship came a daughter, Mariah, a child who never received the public acknowledgement his other children enjoyed. There were no birthday shout-outs, no family pictures, no proud fatherly moments. In the narrative of Busta Rhymes' life, Mariah was treated like a secret chapter he refused to read. Joe refused to let her daughter grow up erased. In the early 2000s, she filed a paternity suit, seeking not just financial support, but recognition and basic humanity. Instead of stepping forward, Busta reportedly fought back with force, spending vast amounts on attorneys to challenge the claim. The courtroom became their battleground, filled with tension, media whispers, and a child caught in the crossfire. Eventually, DNA settled what words could not. Mariah was his daughter. Yet even then, the emotional ice did not melt. There was no reunion, no rebuilding, no space for healing. Mariah remained on the outside, connected to her father only through legal documents, not love. And while Busta Rhymes' legacy in music continued to grow, the silence surrounding his daughter echoed louder than any verse he ever recorded. Eddie Murphy, once the unstoppable comedic force of the 1980s and 90s, dominated Hollywood with a brilliance that felt almost effortless. With blockbuster roles in Beverly Hills Cop, Coming to America, and countless stand-up performances that redefined modern comedy, he became a cultural titan. His smooth confidence and undeniable charisma built the image of a man who could do no wrong, an entertainer whose life seemed as polished as the characters he portrayed. But in 2007, that immaculate facade cracked, revealing a far more complicated truth lurking beneath the laughter. The turning point came with Melanie Brown, Scary Spice herself, whose brief romance with Murphy had once seemed harmless, even glamorous. On April 3, 2007, she gave birth to a daughter, Angel Iris Murphy Brown, born on the same day as Murphy's own birthday. Yet instead of welcoming the child, Murphy responded with a cold, dismissive statement during a televised interview. "I don't know whose child that is." His words didn't just reject a baby. They embarrassed Mel B publicly and stunned millions who believed in his wholesome image. Shaken and hurt, Mel B demanded what Murphy refused to offer: acknowledgement. A paternity test soon confirmed with devastating clarity that he was the father. While the legal outcome forced Murphy to provide financial support, the emotional damage was already deeply etched. Their interactions became minimal, their dynamic distant, overshadowed by the sting of his denial. Murphy's career continued to flourish. Hit films, awards, red carpets, but the silence surrounding Angel raised lingering questions. How could a man who made the world laugh struggle so profoundly with one of life's most basic responsibilities? In that painful chapter, Murphy reminded the world of an uncomfortable truth. Fame can amplify talent, but it can't mask the failures of the heart. Snoop Dogg, born Calvin Brodus Jr., rose from Long Beach streets to global superstardom with a sound and swagger that became instantly recognizable. His smooth drawl, hypnotic delivery, and West Coast cool transformed him into one of hip-hop's most beloved figures. As he transitioned from rapper to actor, TV personality, and all-around cultural icon, Snoop cultivated the image of a man deeply rooted in family. He publicly celebrated his wife, Shantae, uplifted his children's achievements, and portrayed himself as a pillar of loyalty and stability. To the world, Snoop wasn't just a legend. He was the definition of a devoted father. But behind the polished, family-oriented persona was a chapter he worked hard to keep hidden. In 1997, at the height of his fame, Snoop became involved with Lori Holman. Their brief relationship resulted in the birth of a son, Julian Corey Browse. Instead of acknowledging him, Snoop stepped back, choosing silence over responsibility. For more than 10 years, Julian lived in the shadows. No phone calls, no visits, no financial support, and no public recognition. While Snoop's other children appeared in music videos, red carpets, and reality shows, Julian grew up watching from afar, carrying the same blood, but none of the acceptance. Everything changed in 2007 when a court-ordered DNA test confirmed what Lori had said from the beginning. Julian was Snoop Dogg's biological son. The legal truth was undeniable, but emotionally, nothing shifted. Their relationship never developed, and the distance remained. Later, Julian spoke not with anger, but with a quiet honesty about the difficulty of growing up as the unseen child of a global superstar. While Snoop's influence spans music, television, sports, and cannabis culture, the story of Julian is a sobering reminder that even icons can overlook the people who need their presence most. R. Kelly, once revered as the undisputed king of R&B, built a career that spanned decades, transforming raw talent into chart-topping hits like I Believe I Can Fly and Ignition Remix. From the streets of Chicago to arenas worldwide, his voice became an anthem for millions, a symbol of passion, romance, and emotional intensity. Fans celebrated his artistry, but beneath the glossy exterior lay a darker reality, a personal life fraught with secrecy, manipulation, and neglect, even toward the child he fathered. In 2002, R. Kelly and his then-wife Andrea Kelly welcomed their son, Robert Kelly Jr., into the world. Unlike the children of other high-profile musicians, Robert Jr. was deliberately hidden from the public gaze. There were no red carpet appearances, no magazine features, no glimpses of him at award shows. His existence remained a quiet secret, overshadowed by his father's fame. For years, Robert Jr. lived in the background, a silent witness to the private chaos of his family life. As Andrea Kelly shared harrowing accounts of emotional abuse and controlling behavior within their marriage, the hidden impact on Robert Jr. became more evident. He, along with his siblings, navigated a childhood clouded by fear and instability. The protective veil of privacy, intended or not, had become a barrier to genuine fatherhood. As R. Kelly faced mounting legal challenges, from allegations of sexual misconduct to manipulation, the distance between him and his children only grew. Today, Robert Kelly Jr. embodies resilience amid neglect. While his father's music continues to echo in the world, the personal cost of fame and secrecy lingers. Robert Jr.'s story is a stark reminder that no amount of platinum records or accolades can replace the presence, guidance, and accountability of a parent. In the aftermath of R. Kelly's downfall, it is Robert Jr. who stands not as a forgotten figure, but as a survivor navigating the shadows left by a fractured legacy. Chris Brown, once celebrated as the golden boy of R&B, mesmerized audiences with his electrifying dance moves, silky vocals, and undeniable stage charisma. Bursting onto the music scene in the mid-2000s, he was often compared to Michael Jackson, seen as the heir to pop and R&B royalty. His talent, however, came with a tumultuous personal life, peppered with controversies that followed him like shadows. Yet in 2015, one revelation struck harder than any scandal: the existence of a daughter he had kept hidden from the world. Brown's daughter, Royalty, was born from his relationship with model Nia Guzman. For 9 months, her existence was a closely guarded secret, unknown even to his then-girlfriend, Karrueche Tran. When tabloids revealed the truth, Karrueche felt blindsided, her heartbreak compounded by previous public breakups, cheating rumors, and the lingering presence of Rihanna in Chris's life. The betrayal fractured trust and ended their relationship, leaving fans shocked and sympathetic to her plight. Initially silent, Brown eventually confirmed Royalty's paternity and began weaving her into his public life. He named her Royalty, a gesture of love and acknowledgement, even dedicating an album to her. But fatherhood wasn't without challenges. Guzman sought full custody and monthly child support, criticizing Chris's lifestyle as unsuitable for a child. The custody battle was contentious, drawing intense media scrutiny. Ultimately, Chris and Nia reached joint custody, allowing him to embrace fatherhood more openly. Royalty transformed from a hidden secret into the grounding force in his often chaotic life. Her presence brought stability and perspective, reshaping how the public viewed him, not just as a scandal-prone superstar, but as a father striving to reconcile fame, personal mistakes, and responsibility. Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson, long celebrated as a towering voice in the civil rights movement, built a reputation as a moral leader whose words carried the weight of history. From marching alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to advocating for the rights of African Americans for decades, Jackson symbolized hope, integrity, and unwavering commitment to justice. His public persona was rooted in family values, responsibility, and ethical leadership, earning him admiration across political and social spheres. But in 2001, that carefully cultivated image was shaken to its core. The revelation came abruptly. Jackson publicly acknowledged fathering a daughter, Ashley, with a former employee, Karen Stanford. Born 2 years earlier, Ashley's existence had been kept secret, hidden from both media scrutiny and public awareness. For months, Jackson reportedly paid significant sums to maintain the confidentiality of the affair, a stark contradiction to the principles of transparency and honesty he had long championed. The news sent shockwaves through his supporters, colleagues, and the broader public, shaking faith in a figure long regarded as a moral compass. The fallout was immediate and far-reaching. Jackson's wife of more than 30 years, Jacqueline, appeared visibly shaken, though she refrained from public comment. Political allies and religious leaders distanced themselves, and internal tensions arose within the Rainbow Push Coalition, the organization Jackson had built over decades. His heartfelt public apology, while sincere, could not fully repair the damage to his credibility. The episode exposed a private life at odds with a public image rooted in virtue, challenging the nation's perception of integrity and leadership. Jackson's scandal was about more than personal indiscretion. It was a profound breach of trust, a collision between human imperfection and public expectation. For many, it served as a sobering reminder that even the most celebrated icons are fallible. Jesse Jackson's legacy, once untouchable, was forever altered, leaving a cautionary tale about the fragility of moral authority and the cost of hidden truths. Jesse Jackson, once a towering icon of civil rights, shocked the world when he revealed a hidden daughter, a secret that contradicted decades of preaching family values and integrity. While he fought for justice and inspired millions, this personal revelation exposed the tension between public virtue and private actions. It raises difficult questions about the true nature of leadership and accountability. Can a figure who shapes history publicly afford private failings? For Black Excellence Legends, this story challenges us to examine not only the triumphs of our icons, but also the human flaws that complicate their legacies.